I've actually been a producer and director and for a long time. And owned a production company and a post-production facility in Los Angeles for 20 years. And kind of fell into it backwards, you know, never intended to own a facility or anything like that. Just got into shooting, directing, and producing, and then having to drive to Hollywood every night, be there until 5 in the morning, and you know, it's a 30-mile drive, you know. Finally went, okay, so maybe we should create something in Santa Monica where we live. So we created the first post-production facility there. And people thought we were crazy. But what happened was, as you know, I mean, once you get into a film project, so much of it comes together once you've gotten all of your film shot. And then you go, oh shit, we didn't get what we needed, you know, or we didn't, you know, this doesn't work. So maybe, oh, maybe it could work this way. So hours and hours and hours really can kind of come to be dollars and dollars and dollars when you're in that situation. And I believe that what ended up happening is we ended up growing a facility that became the largest facility in Los Angeles for a long time. What the biggest issue was that people would come in and they had run out of money. You know, they'd come in, they would have budgeted 6 weeks for post-production. Now they're 6 months into it, they have no money. So they come to me as the owner of the facility, can we make a deal with you? You know, you want to own part of our film, you know, and it was like, it ended up actually being an interesting situation because James Cameron came in and he was doing Titanic and he had run out of money. And he had shot all this footage for Titanic. And the people, when the Titanic went down, they went down in the North Atlantic, that was cold. They shot the film in Mexico, where it was not cold. So all the scenes in the water had no mist coming out of their mouth. So it kind of lost its like frigidity, you know, it kind of lost it. Which for him was a big deal. And he didn't have any money left. And he came in out of character very humbly and said, and we didn't even have a special effects division at that point. We were just starting, we had a really strong graphics division, but we were just starting in the special effects world. So he came in and he said, can you do this? You know, I'll just pay your night people. So we ended up, one of our night guys was this amazing artist. Figured out how to create graphics film. Next thing we knew, we did 285 shots of Titanic. You know, next thing we knew, we were in like the post-production business of special effects of major feature films, which then ended up being an amazing business. But what ended up happening most of the time was that we ended up owning a percentage of people's films because they couldn't afford to pay for them, because they had budgeted for it. Same thing with small level films, same thing with television projects, same thing with pretty much everything. You know, I think people get so absorbed in what's the creative, what's the script, who are the actors, what's the juice, you know, that when it gets down to the post-production side of things, they've spent everything, including all their own energy. And now they're in there and they're like 2 years into their project and they're just like, you know, crazy. And they live at your facility for a long period of time. And what ends up happening is the creative process, as you get deeper into post-production, you go, well, what about this, and what about that, and what about this, and oh, we should have done that, but we didn't. So now, how can we make up for that? Or if you didn't shoot good footage to begin with, you go, we'll fix it in post. You're pretty screwed, actually, honestly. You can fix a lot of things, you know, you can spend a lot of money to try to fix. But if you come with crummy stuff, you end up with crummy stuff. I mean, you know, you end up with affected stuff. We had 7 or 8 buildings just filled with every kind of equipment possible. I now have a small company who can do everything in one room. It used to take 7 buildings. It would take millions of dollars to do. So it's really, you know, the technology has transformed the entire world of post-production, and financially as well. My suggestion would be to really work with somebody who, from the get-go, that you know you're going to want to work with as an editor. Sounds like way back in the caboose of the train, but actually it's a really, really important piece, because if your editor can participate in the filmmaking, they can really help you save money, save time, not overshoot, not waste, you know, I mean, because a lot of directors are not that cognizant of all of of the aspects of directing. You know, some people are really actor driven, some people are script driven, some people are, you know, composition driven, but they're not always driven by getting everything one needs in order to be able to cut yourself in and out of whatever situation you get in, because you end up being painted into a corner many times, which you don't realize is going to happen. You know, maybe you think you got the take, and actually when you look at it in post, you go, this is not working. What can we do? And that's invariably a lengthy, expensive process. And so that's one suggestion I would really recommend, or one recommendation I would make, is that as you start to build your storyboards, I mean, once you get into pre-production, if you can bring an editor on from the get-go, have them roll through the whole process with you, it's going to save you a lot.